Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, this summer is getting away from me, and it's only really getting away from me because I have a very strict schedule. I mean, as far as my kids' schedule, my schedule, but here's the thing. When I typically record episodes on Wednesdays for Friday, but because my days are revving up and they're getting away from me so quickly, and I'm out of strategic planning. I'm out of strategic planning ideas. As somebody who's been a think tank for a very long time, as somebody who's planted a lot of seeds, and I'm having meetings and I'm meetings on top of meetings, it don't look like none of those meetings are going to have financial fruitful seed till August. Because one of the things that I've been working on I've been getting a lot of yeses, but none of that money is coming till August. And so here I am 4 months out of recovering this mortgage, and I get an email, and I'll share with y'all what that email said over on Patreon. So go ahead and subscribe over there. It's free to subscribe. And if you want access to the exclusive content, you get a discount on your first month's subscription. So I'm going to tell y'all what the email said over on Patreon. But anywho, got an email. Let's just say that kind of threw my day, my week for a loop. But the reality is I had a really good weekend. Here it is. It's Monday. I'm recording the episode just as it hit me like, dang, when am I going to have time? I don't want to have to catch y'all up 2 weeks later. But I was able to help my friend host a field day with the boys. Of course, y'all know I have a daughter, but I also have a preteen son. She has a teenage son. And we kind of just wanted to see how the boys handle competition, also helping them to gain some emotional stability. And we know it's not going to take one day of an activity for them to get the emotional intelligence that we would like for them to have, because it's a work in progress. But it leads me to this point. The way that you parent your children will essentially show up in how they react to other people in the world. And I say that as a blanket statement. When I think about the fact that I had recently hosted an event at the library because my son had recommended me, it lets me know that he sees value in what I do, just doing something that I enjoy, which is doing art and doing vision boards and, talking about feelings and just really speaking life into who he is and who he will be. And so from there, we ended up at an event on Thursday. It was a gaming event where it was robotics. Y'all know I'm really big into the STEAM of it all. I'm really big into that because I'm planting the seed into my son that I would like for him to be an engineer. Not only I would like for him to be an engineer, but I want him to make the connection in the things that he enjoys doing, is in the realm of being an engineer. Because a lot of times with kids, they might say they want to be something, but the connection of the education is not there. Hence why I create so many different types of curriculum within the space of teaching. Also, I made a goal for myself to make $16,000 for the month of July. Am I being delusional? I would hope not, but 16,000 is just a little above what I need to cover the last few months of mortgage, cover my car note that's about to be behind, pay my phone bill, pay some bills, and then still maybe give or take have $5,000 left. So 16 is not crazy, right? But when I calculated all of the things that I have into play, like Top Notch Eyewear is my business, where you will see the difference. TopNotchEyes.com. All frames are 45% off. Okay, I have Top Notch Eyewear. I have the curriculums. I have books that I sell. I have Patreon. I have where I make commissions on TikTok. I have all of these different things. I'm monetized on Pinterest. So that's about 6 different things that I have going on. And when I take that $16K and I divide it by the 31 days of July, that's $500 and some odd dollars. And when I take that $500 and I divide it by the other things that I have going on, that's $85 a thing, right? And so funny enough, I sold a course that was $85 and I was like, dang, I don't want to get on here and do too much talking and do too much putting out there without it yielding me a financial dollar. But that wasn't the start of Black Girl Say Something. That's the start of everything else I have going on. But I say all of that to say, when I am now in this place where I'm like, wow, there is no more strategic planning, right? Because what's the next step? What is the next step? I'm making the calls. I'm hosting the meetings. I'm meeting the people. If you don't know me in real life, you'll know from this, I'm very big on networking. I'm even doing cold calling to get people to know what services I provide and what things I offer. I'm going back to the old school. I'm making calls and I'm pitching myself. That's how deep in, that's how much grit and how much work. I don't even know what the word, I was drawing a blank on me right now, but that's how much go get it I have in me, that I know that it's not going to just come knocking at the door. But here we are now. So when, if you see me getting a little lax on posting episodes, it's not because I don't have anything to say, but I know that people who genuinely have been following Black Girl Say Something for the time that we started, we just hit 3 years of the podcast. The podcast does not make me any money. We used to tell people, hey, subscribe. And if I'm being honest with you, when I started Patreon, outside of being on Patreon, the podcast had not made any money. This is something I do from my phone, and I wanted to get like equipment. I even had put out not too long ago some episodes that I had to pay for studio time for with a guest. Those are on Patreon. And the more I think I talk about it, the less I feel like people get turned off, because nobody really wants to listen to a podcast where they have to pay. I don't know what the case may be, but people did tell me what other platforms they listen to the podcast on. So every day I'm working at putting out the podcast on all of these different platforms if it doesn't cost me anything, because I cannot right now incur cost on something that I just genuinely enjoy doing. And so giving y'all these little updates and popping in and saying, hey, I'm okay. Because I know some people get concerned. It's like, she ain't posted an episode. And there's a good host of people who, may not follow me on other platforms, and all they do is listen to the podcast. And that's okay too. But leaving a review for the podcast does help. Subscribing on YouTube helps. Following us on TikTok. Liking us on Facebook. Following us on Spotify. That's an option now that you can do. Following us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. There's a follow feature. There's a feature to leave a review. It's always greatly appreciated. But also, if something always resonates with you, in this episode or previous episodes, share it with at least one person. Going back to my point of when you are raising your children, it will show up in how they react to other people. I had a very interesting, and this summer has been one where I'm put in positions as a higher education person. My master's in health science that concentrates in higher education. I've been doing a lot of teaching to the young people. And by young people, I'm talking grade school, middle school, high school, even some elementary school. And I'm talking 4th grade and up, if we want to be honest, 4th grade to 12th grade. And I'm finding that the way that they react to people, like for me, I remember at one point, and still sometimes every now and then, I have a time with my children. Whether it might feel like they may not be listening, they may not take directions well, but at home, we're able to course correct, we're able to reflect, we're able to have these conversations and move past it. Because I used to be the type of parent, and I say used to be because I'm a work in progress. I used to be the type of parent that if I can't move past it, I'm going to keep bringing it up at every chance. And so therapy has taught me that you have to have a game plan mentally on how to move past it. You cannot let it build up. So like if incident A happens, you talk about incident A, but then when incident B happens, you somehow relate it back to incident A. You have not moved past it. Moving past it is creating a solution so that this way, when incident B comes up, you're not relating it back to incident A, because again, it could be the same script, different cast, but you need to stick to the fact that it's a different cast every time. The situation is different. The conversation should be different. And try in some way not to relate it back, because now it's like, I thought you said you moved past that. I say all of that to say, When I hear people talk about their children from such a state of perfection, I'm always weary in the fact that they don't really know their child. I always let people tell me about my children, and then I'm usually in shock and awe. And the reason why I'm in shock and awe, not because I don't think I have great children. I think I have great children, but not because they're great children. I tell y'all this all the time. I don't tell them this, but I tell y'all this. Not because I think they're great children, but because I know they have a great mom. A mom who does the work, a mom who's open to learning, a mom who's flexible in changing her parenting style when needed. Because the same way I used to parent the 10-year-old when he was 5 is not going to work at 10. The same way I used to parent, the same way I'm parenting the 15-year-old is not going to work the same way when she was 10. And let's be honest, when she was 10, her dad was in the home being abusive to me. So let's just say I had to go through my own healing journey to get to where I'm at. And because I appreciate the people around me, the people who see me, the people who understand me and the way that things work for me, I'm never going to tell you to do something because it works for me. Because there's always an underlying, I'm a scientist by nature. I see the science and the sociological indication of everything. So when people are talking, I just let them talk, and then essentially they talk themselves into a hole. Then it comes up and you have to deal with their child, and then you realize, oh, you actually don't know your child, right? How your child acts out in the wild should be the same how they act at home. But for the most part, most people don't really know their children because they identify their children with who they are. And I've talked about, disassociating to be a better parent. You can tune into that episode. But here's the reality. Your child is going to be whoever they choose to be. Yes, we can give them the tools. Yes, we can work with them. Yes, we can talk till we're blue. I'm dark skinned, so I could talk till I'm purple in the face. That's not going to change the trajectory in most cases of who they've already decided they're going to be. All you can do is speak life into them and, talk to them and with love and kindness, essentially have that conversation with them with love and kindness. But I know essentially for me, where I got to this point with my children is allowing them to see themselves and what they want for themselves. So if something doesn't align with what you want for yourself, whether it be friendship, whether it be a job, whether it be an opportunity, if it does not align with what you want for yourself, then it's not for you. And that just doesn't go for children. That doesn't just go for raising, well-adjusted human beings who can be contributing members of society. That goes for us as adults too. Anywho, with that being said, wherever you listen to podcasts, if something was said that resonated with you, share this with at least one person. Black Girl Say Something airs an episode every week. I'll say that for now. It's every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I do my best of airing an episode every week. Wherever you listen to podcasts, the best thing you could do for us to keep supporting the podcast is clicking the links in the description of the episode. Thank you for listening, and until next time.